Well, that is a famous song by Uncle Ray Connick called Punahele. I think it's one of the most beautiful slack key tunes ever created. And I'm going to show you how to approach playing a tune like that. It's a very personal kind of music. Now, the first thing is I'm in a tuning called double slack right now. Double slack is what's called a wahine tuning. It has a major seventh interval in it, in this case an F sharp. If you strum all of the strings, starting with the fifth string, you get a really nice G major seventh chord. So here are the notes that I'm tuned to. I've got a D on top, B as in boy, F sharp, so your G string comes down a half step to an F sharp, and then a D, G on the fifth string, and a D. So here's the way this tuning works. If you press down on the first fret of the third string and use your G bass, you get a G chord. What's cool is if you press down on the second string on the first fret and use your D bass, you get a D7 chord. So you can change chords with just one finger. Okay, so Punahele has, obviously there's a lot going on here, but there's a real easy way to approach it. I've put tab up there on my website with an easy way to start looking at this tune. The low part sounds like this. That's the easy way to do it. We'll add the other stuff in later. So the first part, the G lick, you start with your thumb on the G, and then you play, holding down that first fret, you play your G string. That's not so hard. The next note's going to be your thumb on the D string, and you're going to hammer on immediately, like this. Do something really cool. You're going to, right after that, you're going to play the open third string and hammer onto that. And another bass note. Again. And then you get another hammer on in the next couple of notes in sequence. Now the easy version of the lick when it goes over to the D chord is just, so I'm just holding down that note on the first fret of the second string. Twice, one more. Getting you back to G. Now notice that you're hammering on before the beat. Another turnaround. Okay, so here's that whole part again. have noticed sometimes I left off some bass notes. Yeah, sometimes I leave off some bass notes in that part because I think it sounds cool, so I do that. Okay, so I would say take that tab down and practice that for a while before you go on, because that's going to be kind of tricky. I'm going to look at the what we call the B part of the tune. Let me get myself in range here. It uses harmonics or chimes up here on the 12th fret. So it's pretty straight ahead here. Then you go down to the 7th and use the D basses. And then just that simple turnaround. Okay, so take a look at that, get those two parts together, and then we'll look at the last little bit in a second. Well, we've come to the last part. I call it C. I just labeled these just, A, B, C, just so you could have some reference. You can play them in any order you want, of course, once you get there. Anyway, this last little bit of the tune is sort of where a lot of the meat happens. Again, this is a very simplified arrangement. I'm going to come back and look at this tune again in another lesson here to show you what you can do with it once you've got all these three little pieces together. So the last little bit, the G lick is just going to be moving between the 2nd fret, 2nd string, and the 5th fret. And the D lick moves between the 1st fret, 2nd, and the 2nd fret. So here's the whole thing. Okay, so practice all that for a while, and then I'll be back. Till then, stay tuned.